good morning again. If you could, please take your seats. And I say that with hesitation because the whole point you're here is for networking, to talk amongst yourselves. But we do have some pretty important people that I want to introduce you to, and then get on our way with the program and let you listen to some of our industry experts that we've gathered for you here today, both in this room and as well as the breakout rooms. And we'll tell you more about that in just a second. My name again is Paige Siplon. I'm the Executive Director of the Center of Innovation for Logistics, and I'll explain that for a second in just a moment. We do have, if you could go back to the slides really quick. So this year's summit is themed Sustainable Competitiveness. And frankly, those are just two fancy words that we stuck together, but they mean a lot more than that. Sustainable competitiveness, when most people think about sustainability, very importantly, they think about environmental, and that's an important part of the puzzle. But really, if you're in business, and many of you are, some of you are still entrepreneurs and looking for work, and we appreciate you coming here as well. But if you're in business, you're competitive. How do you sustain that competitive advantage? There's two perspectives that you're going to hear throughout the day today, both in this room and again in our breakout sessions that we prepared for you. The two perspectives are what's working, what's keeping you in that competitive position, and then also, most importantly, what's of concern? What keeps you up at night? And again, you'll hear that from a wide variety of perspectives throughout the day. Hopefully you can stick with us all the way through our international panel that we'll close with at 3:30 today. One of my favorite quotes here is from Thomas Edison. He says, "Opportunity is often missed because it's dressed in overalls and looks like hard work." And that's very true. So keeping those two perspectives in mind, what's working, what can you accentuate in your own supply chains and your own businesses, and then also keeping an eye on what's of concern is also of great interest. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to our first introducer. My center is an integrated, industry-focused component of the Department of Economic Development. We help fuel logistics competitiveness is sort of the tagline that we've come up with, help connect, like many of you have hopefully done today, help companies compete within the supply chain and logistics industry, and then hopefully help them grow in a sustainably competitive way. That's what we're all about here in Georgia, and that's what we're focused on here at the Center of Innovation for Logistics. So as part of that Department of Economic Development industry expert team, I want to introduce you to Chris Cummiskey. If you look in your program, you'll see his full bio. I'm not going to read that to you now because it's long, but he joined the department last year, and I can tell you, you don't have a better champion, maybe other than the governor of the logistics industry here in Georgia, and a great salesman for our industry. Please help me welcome Chris Cummiskey.
Before I start, I want to thank Paige Siplon. 4 years ago, this was an idea. We had a few hundred people. The next year, we had 800 people. Last year, we had 1,000 people. And this year, we had about 1,500 people. And he does a great job. And thank you very much, Paige, for all you do. I'm here to introduce the governor. And I did this last night. And I decided, probably not the smartest thing to do, but I decided to poke fun at the governor's fishing abilities. And somebody on the way out gave me two pieces of advice. One was never poke at somebody when they're going to come to the microphone after you, which was a very good piece of advice. And number two, don't poke fun at somebody that signs your paychecks. So we're going to go a different route today. I want to say thank you to a few other people in the room before I introduce the governor. If you look around this room, it's amazing how many economic developers are here for this industry. They realize the importance of it. I've seen folks from Lawrence County, Baldwin County, Bryan County, Newton County. Thank you for your support. And I know you're here for one simple reason, because we are the logistical hub of the Southeast. We have the fastest growing port in the country. We have the world's busiest airport, 2 Class A railroads, and a highway system that's second to none. It's what a driving force for our economy in Georgia is because of our logistical system. And there's no one that knows this better than the governor. He's made it his mission in this administration to make Georgia the #1 place to do business in the country. And I believe we can get there. And when we get there, it's going to be on the back of the logistical system of this state. Make no mistake about it. But there's two things that are going on right now that are going to give us the leading advantage to continue our push in that area. There are two things I like to say are generational. We don't have many opportunities to but to rise to the challenge of two major issues we're facing. One is we have a T-SPLOS going on. We're asking our citizens to put a penny sales tax on themselves to make sure that we continue to mitigate traffic in Metro Atlanta, to make sure our rural counties have the connectivity to the ports and the rail they need to be successful. And last and not least, to make sure the port and the areas around the port infrastructure keeps up with the tremendous growth they've had over the last 10 years, and we plan to see in the future too. And on that, the second thing we have to do in the next year to 18 months is make sure we dredge our harbor and deepen our port at Savannah. We're going to get it done, and there's not a better spokesman for this state than the governor. I can guarantee you, if you look at his schedule in the last year, besides being in Atlanta and perhaps his second home where he goes on the weekends, there's not a place he spent more time than the Savannah, Georgia, and it's because of the ports. It is the most important thing we can do is to make sure we continue that process and get it done. The governor has given every support to this industry, to my department. I can't thank him enough. So without further ado, I'd like you to help me welcome the 82nd Governor of Georgia, Nathan Deal.
Thank you very much, Chris. I think one of my better appointments has been to put Chris Cummiskey in charge of economic development, and he certainly has a great team that is working with him. And it is my opportunity today to welcome you to the 4th Annual Georgia Logistics Summit. And it is indeed a record year. As Chris indicated, we now have about 1,500 plus who have signed up to attend this conference. And it represents people from some 28 states and 7 nations. I think that is a testament to the rapid growth that we have in our state and to the importance of logistics to the industries that each of you represent. Wherever you might fit in the supply chain, most of you are doing business with Georgia in one way or another. And we realize that you have many choices as to where you can do business. But we are appreciative of the fact that you have come to our state and that you've joined with us as partners. Most of you know that this is a global crossroads for goods and for people. So let me begin by talking about a few of those things that make us that global crossroads. Last year, recognizing that we had a lot of strengths, but we also needed to understand that we were in a very competitive environment, we launched what was known as the Competitiveness Initiative for Georgia. It was a public-private partnership with the aim of developing strategies to boost our state's competitiveness. It included upgrading our transportation network. It also included a focus on initiatives that directly impact logistics, from infrastructure itself to improving upon our business-friendly climate. And I believe the results of the Competitiveness Initiative will ultimately enhance our ability in this state and will address your logistical needs. A tool in our arsenal, even more directly related to the focus of this summit, is the Center of Innovation for Logistics, which serves as Georgia's leading resource to fuel logistics growth and competitiveness. The center connects problem holders with problem solvers to accelerate innovative solutions and benefit companies that are doing business here in our state. We have a broad array of tools at our disposal and a long list of competitive advantages, but we remain focused on enhancing the coordination of efforts. Last year, we announced an effort to develop a comprehensive statewide freight and logistics action plan. I'm pleased to tell you that that action plan has now been completed, and a final draft is being prepared for release by the Georgia Department of Transportation Board meeting on February the 18th. This plan will help us ensure that everything we are doing moves us forward toward common goals of reducing time to market, increasing supply chain efficiency, and increasing reliability. This plan will guide us as to the strategies and solutions by providing the biggest bang for the buck in terms of improved capacity and connectivity. It was developed through a public-private partnership that included public agencies such as GDOT, Georgia Department of Economic Development, GRETA, and the Governor's Office, a private sector advisory committee with representatives from the Home Depot, Coca-Cola Refreshments, Delta Airlines, UPS, Southern Freight, Coastal Logistics Group, Georgia Pacific, Norfolk Southern, CSX Transportation, Georgia Ports Authority, Georgia Motor Trucking Association, and Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. I want to ask all of those who played a role in this development of this plan to please stand at this time and be recognized so that we may thank you for your service to the state of Georgia. Would you please stand? As Chris indicated, we have made great progress toward advancing the Savannah Harbor expansion project. It is certainly something that is high on our list of important projects, as the Panama Canal will be deepened and widened by the 2014 time frame. We are preparing for the bigger ships to head our way. This is an opportunity for us to increase our competitiveness. Now, let me tell you what a deeper port will do in Savannah. It will provide greater efficiency for the 21,000 United States companies, 75% which are headquartered outside of the state of Georgia, who use the port facilities. It has been estimated by the Army Corps of Engineers that the deepening of this harbor and the larger ships being able to come in and out will save private companies at least $100 million a year in transportation cost. And we're doing everything in our power to move that project forward. It was a project that was authorized by Congress in 1999. There's been somewhere in the neighborhood of $40 million already spent doing environmental studies, all of the prerequisites that go along with a project of this type. Georgia is supposed to provide 40% of the overall funding under the legislation. We already have committed $134 million toward that project, and the budget that I have submitted to the members of the General Assembly for next year's budget includes another $47 million to add to that. We are continuing to work at the federal level towards a record of decision on this project, which we are hopeful will come by the middle of the summer, and then, of course, the financial commitment for that 60% that the federal government is supposed to come up with so that we can begin work on that project. We're continuing to work on logistical projects such as the Jimmy DeLoach Parkway, which will support SHEP. And we have a very strong infrastructure in place that supports the port as it is, and we will continue to strengthen it. It includes 2 interstates, I-16 and I-95, and 2 Class I railroads. So we have a lot of things going for us in that regard. I want to thank all of you, and I know there are many of you, and I see you scattered around the room today, for the help you have given us in this ongoing project, and we urge you to continue to help us as we move forward to beginning the dredging of that harbor so that we will be truly competitive. We're also focused on academic collaboration and research, which we think goes a long way toward boosting our logistics capabilities. At this very summit last year, I outlined Georgia's intention to pursue a national transportation research center with the United States Department of Transportation to be led by Georgia Tech. This initiative has become a reality. 2 weeks ago, we announced that Georgia Tech has been designated and funded as one of only 10 national university transportation centers by US DOT. This National Transportation Center will leverage our research capabilities at Georgia Tech as well as the partner schools, and will make Georgia an even more dynamic center of transportation planning. Transportation planning on a regional scale will further embed Georgia as the epicenter of the logistics industry in the Southeast. Georgia has some of the best transportation and logistics research and educational capabilities in the world. Georgia's universities and technical colleges currently offer 100 different logistics-related education programs, ranging from commercial truck driving certification at our trade schools to PhD programs at schools like Georgia Tech. In 2011 alone, we added 8 new programs targeting logistics. These expansive educational options can help us improve our business climate while at the same time ensuring that we are developing a workforce that your companies will demand. In closing, I want to enlist your support for the upcoming T-SPLOST regional referendum. As most of you are aware, the July vote will give Georgians in the 12 special tax districts the opportunity to raise funds for important infrastructure upgrades. If the T-SPLOST is approved in every region, it is estimated that the 1-cent sales tax will raise more than $18 billion for new transportation funding over the next 10 years. We specifically need everyone here who has a vested interest in future transportation and logistics in Georgia to become an advocate for this very important issue. To be competitive in today's market, regardless of your business, you must always be thinking ahead and be creative. And there are many factors that go into competitiveness equations. And the one thing we do know for certain, that these factors don't always remain the same. And that's why we're focused on making the improvements I have talked about today to better serve our customers, but we are also planning for the future. Please let us know if there's anything that we can do to be a good partner with you in your business to help you be successful. In closing, I thank you for being here. I thank you for being a partner with our state. And most of all, I thank you for doing business in our state and providing jobs to our citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor. We really appreciate you being here. Just a small token of our appreciation, a little plaque for thanking you for participating in our summit this year. Once again, thank you, Governor.
Thank you all.